Hello ladies and gentlemen, and indeed, myself, OD Pixel and Draskell are, well, we're ready to take you into the second series of the day. 4 Clovers playing up against Ninjas in Pajamas, and the draft is underway. So, less time looking at us and more time looking at the picks so far, because we've already got a few coming out from both teams. What are you liking, and what are you not liking, Andy?
Well, so far, 4 Clovers, they get their hands on a Shaker. I'm personally a huge fan of the hero. I think it is very versatile, good initiator, counter initiator, can get you kills early on. If it's played by Bambo, it is one of the sickest roamers ever, because apparently Bambo just roams on every single hero that he plays, no matter what. I don't even think it's fair to call him just a straight-up offlaner, because that's really never the style that he plays. He just always gets heroes that can do things, regardless of whether or not he stays in lane. So hopefully we get to see him on that. NiP, though, starting off with the Limp Queen of Pain, definitely, I feel, a step in the right direction. And as Shane was saying on the couch between games, obviously, Limp is one of the guys that you're going to look to create space for your position 1.
And talking about creating space and also just jumping into other people's spaces and screwing them over, Night Stalker is the second pick here from NiP. We saw it in the first series today when Empire picked it up and had a very nice performance with him. I mean, what's up with the NS? Is he really as good as teams seem to be favoring him?
I think he just matches up well against a lot of the support / offlaners that you see nowadays. Like, Shaker's a perfect example. The thing with Earthshaker is he can set up kills, but he's not really good on his own in terms of pure damage output until later on when he has, you know, things like Echo and maybe Blink Dagger. But before that time, there's probably, what, 5 or 6 night phases that Night Stalker is going to be able to abuse. And if you throw out a silence onto a Bane, even with 1 point at night, it's 5 seconds of silence, right? Or you can even just throw out a random Void to stop a Fiend's Grip or something of that nature, and he just does a ridiculous amount of right-click damage with pretty much no items, as long as you have some points into your passive. So his mobility, the increased health regeneration that he just got, the amount of damage that his nuke does versus how much mana it costs, because I'm pretty sure Void's only 90 mana. I can just double check to make sure.
Levels. No,
it's
scales
80, 90, 100, 110. So they changed the scaling.
It's low.
So it doesn't cost much at all. So it's pretty much like 3 damage per point of mana, which is still very efficient in terms of a nuke for a hero like that. And just in general, he's like an ogre, you know? I mean, I'm going to make that comparison a lot because I really feel like the heroes are kind of the same, except Night Stalker during night is kind of like a better version of ogre, which is kind of scary to think about.
It's true. It's true indeed. We were talking about the ogre, of course. We saw him in the last series. We're interested to see if NiP want to get on the same train that Empire are on with the pick. But 4 Clovers, they're going to go for their clockwork here. And remembering the games that we casted before 4 Clovers, I have a feeling this was a hero that spanned out against them quite a lot.
It is, and it's also another hero that a lot of teams will ban in the second phase, because normally you see your Shakers and your Lina and things like that in the first phase, and 2 heroes that get, you know, absolutely destroyed by clockwork, right? Like, you do not want to be hookshot with battery assault on as Lina or Shaker, because you'll never get a spell off. Bane is the same. Like, Bane's animations are not very good at all, so maybe a little bit of a denial pick, although I'm not sure if NiP would be willing to run Era on a farming Night Stalker or not. I'm not entirely sure if they've done that. But it is another hero who does match up very well against the 2 opening heroes of 4 Clovers up until this point. And it's still very good against Night Stalker, and you can see that NiP, they automatically have to adjust. They pick a Rubik in the laning phase to make sure that they can get that lift out of the cogs. But later on in the game, I feel like Rubik is not really as good of a counter, but he does still have a couple of nice things to steal. So stealing Fiend's Grip is freaking easy. Like, you can just throw it out anytime, and it's like, okay, I get it for free. Brain Sap and Nightmare are both great. Fissure's good. Echo is okay, but obviously you don't have Aftershock, so you're not going to get the stun out of that. So I think the Rubik pick is pretty solid. See what 4 Clovers want to go for now.
Let's see what they're running tandem here. And it's going to be interesting as well. NiP, I mean, Lumi was talking about it before the game, you know, in terms of the hard carries that they like. Gyro was one of them for Era, and it is still in the pool. Obviously, it has been nerfed out a little bit over the previous patches. I mean, is it still in a good enough position to be picked up potentially by NiP here for the kind of Rubik combination?
I think for now it's still okay, because there's 3 heroes right now in 4 Clovers that don't really buy BKB. Like, maybe out of all of them, the Bane buys it just so we can get a free channel on his ulti. Like, that maybe is the most likely scenario. And that's if 4 Clovers are, like, stomping, right?
Oh, yeah,
like, that's when,
you're going to take a while to get there.
Yeah, that's when you see the Bane pick up the BKB. So I still feel like it's an okay choice for either team. Maybe a tiny bit better right now for NiP, I feel. Because even though you have that Gyro Clockwork combination, Queen and Night Stalker are pretty much going to buy BKB in like 9 games out of 10. Like that's just how it is. And again, we don't know what position that Night Stalker is going to be in. Could be off lane, could be even position 1. And 4 Clover, They played that first game against Umpire earlier, and they said, you know what, Doom might be pretty good. Maybe we should go ahead and pick that up for ourselves.
I mean, the question is, where do they play it? And I guess with the lineup so far, they'll probably do it safe lane like
I think
like
it's
Empire
safe
did
lane.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing about Doom, and why I think it's really good here, is it's very hard to steal Doom in general, because you can Doom and you just immediately Scorched Earth, right? It's just like using a Witch Doctor's ultimate. You just toggle on Voodoo Restoration. You can just stop him from stealing it every time. But against heroes like Night Stalker, if you Doom them, the Night Stalker is going to have a lot less incentive to stay in the team fight, right? Because we saw earlier how disruptive Resolution was on that Night Stalker, just like diving in over and over. But if you get doomed, then it's automatically just saying, okay, well, if I stay in the fight, I'm going to die. So I pretty much have to run. So instead of having to worry about picking a lot of disables or a lot of burst damage, you're just like, whatever, I'll just throw a Doom on him, you know? And then he has to run. So it's a very nice way to deal with that.
I mean, this is an interesting one as well. Legion has been picked up, and it is kind of a bit of a mirror of the first game, the first series we saw, where we saw tables kind of turn. 4 Clovers pick Legion into a lineup that Empire had that involved a Doom and a Bane. I mean, why do you feel that NiP have felt that this game is one to bring Legion into the draft?
I still think Legion is very good against heroes like Bane. You have the heal for against the Doom itself in terms of how much damage it does. I feel like it out-heals it for the duration that it lasts, and maybe a little bit more so. And then obviously Doom at level 1 only does 20 damage a tick, which is not really that impressive at all, considering I think the heal at level 1 is like, what, 40 or 50?
Okay.
It's 30. So Invoker now. There's got to be X-Sword Invoker, like 100%.
Invoker.
Yeah, with Clockwork and Bane and Shaker. There's so many things to set up Sunstrikes in this. And the other thing, too, is for now, NiP, they have the frontline hero of Night Stalker until Legion gets Blink. So unlike Empire, where they drafted like the Doom, the Night Stalker, and the TA together, 3 heroes who can simultaneously like push the front line and just like tower dive you and stuff like that, you really only have 1 hero until your Legion commander farms enough money for that Blink Dagger, which means things like Cogs, Cold Snap, Fissures, even the Bane Grip, they're all going to be super annoying for this Night Stalker to deal with. So I actually think that 4 Clover have a really good lineup at stopping these 2 like tanky kind of frontline heroes from really getting in and doing anything.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see how this Invoker pans out. And as you said, the setup on their own side, and also the setup on the other side, the Legion.
Ooh.
Slark is going to be almost certainly Era's hero, yeah. So it's going to be Jonasson fan.
It's
Legion.
support Night Stalker.
And yeah,
yeah, it's support Night Stalker.
Yes.
Jonasson fan's playing Legion, and then Henskin's playing Night Stalker, so.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe
so
they just thought the same thing that I did.
Do you think they started off with the intention of running it off lane?
I think they did.
Yeah.
But then they saw like Clockwork and Doom, and then all of a sudden X-Sword Invoker comes out, and you're just like, do I really want to walk into Cold Snap, Doom, and Clockwork hooks? Like, that does not sound like my kind of Night Stalker game, you know? You want him to have some kind of freedom to be able to get in and out of the fight, because that's what he really excels at, you know? Abuse your mobility, abuse your low mana cost, low cooldown nuke, and just keep spamming it on these heroes. But against the kind of team that 4C&L has, it's much, much harder to do that.
I'm interested by this the Era Slark pickup. So we were talking about kind of signature Era heroes, and I kind of feel Slark is one that we have seen Era pick up a few times in the past, and it feels like it's been a while since we've kind of had the Slark patch, you know, where Slark's consistently been a top tier choice for, you know, it kind of on the same level as like PL, Jara, and Anti-Mage. I mean, what do you think is the problem with the hero in a lot of situations, and why is this a game where you are wanting to run it?
So the first thing about Slark is his laning phase is abysmal. Like, absolutely terrible. The only form of harass you have outside of pouncing somebody is an ability that also hurts you. And you don't have any regen at the start of the game, so anything that hurts you is not really seen as that good of a laning tool, right? It's more seen as like a pushing and farming utility. But outside of that, he really needs time to get off the ground. So you want somebody on your team who's going to be able to create some space for you. Minimum, you want like, to me personally, where he really comes online is level 11. Because then you have 4 points into Pounce, and you have 4 points into Dark Pact. You have 2 points into your ultimate, and then 1 into Essence Shift. And that's when the hero really starts to feel like he can hold his own. Because you go in, you do some damage, you go out again, very similar to how Night Stalker plays, and you regenerate the health that you've lost. Now, previously, Slark was seen as a hero who's not very good against Doom because Doom used to disable passives, right? Just innately.
Back in the day.
Way back in the day.
Back before break.
Yeah, back before break was a thing, and nowadays you need Aghanims to stop that Slark regeneration from really kicking in, so you can still go into Fog and regenerate through the Doom. And plus, it's another target that 4C&L are going to look at and think, how many disables do you want to commit to this? Slark is obviously very good against Bane and Earthshaker, and Clockwork, actually, for that matter. You can pounce out of Cogs, you can Dark Pact any disable that Bane throws out. All of his abilities are highly telegraphed, very easy to dodge with Dark Pact. Well, not dodge, but you obviously remove them, right? So I think it's still okay, but I'm kind of worried that NiP's laning phase might be a little weak with the addition of the Slark. Just depends on how much 4C&L are going to look to punish it.
EGM went in for a Nightmare onto Limp. He's going to have it taken off him there by Hanskin, so they do get the slow onto EGM, but yeah, Swift ending that to him. Oh, Jonas and Fanny's been trapped up here by the fish. Could be in a bit of trouble here as he's trying to tango into the trees, get that regen up, but 3 heroes on the side of 4 Clovers, trapping him up. They do get the nuke out. Maybe they get the first blood. They'll find the kill onto EGM. They do finally lose Jonas and Fan. Reborn has hit us hard here.
It's hitting me on my PC as well, don't worry.
Yeah, this was...
I have crashed like 3 times out of this game already.
Valve, please.
Dota.
This was trouble. We were having this over the weekend at Ireland. These...
All 3 of our computers are actually crashed. None of us are actually in Dota right now.
I didn't even bother loading the game because I knew Reborn was going to screw us over here.
Okay.
So, do apologize.
Right, well.
At least we saw the good bit of action there. A very chaotic
We didn't miss
blood.
anything, just so you guys know. We didn't miss
No
anything.
one else died. We're back in on our end. We should be back in your end.
Phrasing.
Am I hearing in-game music? No.
Phrasing.
This is menu music.
It's menu music, yeah.
It's menu music. We're just loading. We're clicking the loading button. Right
Pycat's gonna die here middle lane.
Yeah, it was... Sorry. T-Tours to another level here, as we're not even in the game, unfortunately.
Well, Wepus reconnected finally, so I think we'll be okay in a second.
Wepus,
yeah.
we got you. We've got you. Thanks, Wepus. I do apologize for this at home. I see some kind of issue with the client that we can't do a lot about. And Wepus. Throwing a little bit off guard there as Night Stalker. Oh, he denies himself.
He did it on purpose.
Wepus didn't want to show it. He knew it was going on. But no, of course, big shout out to Wepus. We haven't mentioned him. Is on the camera, and Scriff doing some of the overlay work as well. So shout out to the good studio boys. 2 for 1 at the moment to the side of NiP. And so this mid lane, the Quap versus Invoker, Limp versus Pycat. What can we expect to see go down here?
So I usually feel as though Exort Invoker for the first like 2 or 3 levels, it's kind of even, and you're not going to have the kind of regen that you need to trade. As you can see, Pycat's already kind of defensively postured here. But as you start to put more points into Exort, and with the new 4 int game of Invoker, it becomes so hard for Queen to last hit. Like, you just hit like an absolute truck at levels 3 and 5. So I'm interested to see how well Pycat's able to do in this position. It's 7-1 versus 8-4, so it's not really a huge lead for Limp at the moment. But I also feel like Queen is maybe one of Limp's best heroes.
Hanskin's around EGM. Just turns around with a quick Nightmare.
He's just taking a nap.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Puts him to sleep. And this offlane clock. How's it doing here? And interesting to know, I don't know if you've said, but are we missing Bambo?
No, we're missing Saxa.
We're missing Saxa. Okay,
yeah.
Saxa's taking
He was having some internet issues, so they got to stand in. Very fast, mind you. It was like 2 minutes, literally, and they had a guy in the lobby, so.
YOLO Warrior. I'll be honest, not too familiar with this man myself. We'll see how he does for the team.
Well, he's playing Clockwork, and his name's YOLO Warrior,
yeah,
so
I mean,
I got high expectations going in.
If you're going to be a stand-in for 4 Clovers, that's the kind of name that they'd probably reach towards. Yeah.
Bambo would be proud.
So, and anyway, 3 minutes in. The kind of the both carries, how we're doing in terms of the last hit. So it's 19 and 17, so pretty evenly done. Arrow's getting a lot of space on the bottom, being able to deny quite a bit away from YOLO Warrior. And well, this Shadow Strike spam in the mid lane, really forcing Pycat back from the wave and making it that little bit harder for him to find the CS against the Quap. 17 for 10 on Limp compared to the 7 for 1 on Pycat.
Yeah, I think Invoker, I'm not entirely sure how much Pycat's played this in the competitive environment, as we're going to see Sexy Bambo. Okay, he's got his buddy EGM in the area, we'll be fine. But I think this is maybe one of the heroes that he's not played as much. Maybe, I mean, obviously he's probably played in pubs, you know, but how much competitive experience does Pycat have on Invoker? It's not really like your atypical lane bully hero that I feel like he's most comfortable with, and I think Limp is kind of able to abuse that a bit. It's all the same to me. Because, I mean, I'll be honest, it ain't going great for him right now. It was pretty even, and now it's 7-2 versus 21 and 12. which sounds a hell of a lot worse.
Top lane, Swift Ending, trying to make a go onto Jonas and Fan. Fisher though from Bambo will trap both of them off, and Swift Ending will just... Oh, hang on, the Shadow Strike, what level is it?
He might still be dead? No, he's fine.
No,
he's gonna live with like 8 HP. All right, 10. Whatever, close enough.
Calculated, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, they get Pokecat a little bit of space. Limp, obviously looking for that rotation towards the top lane. Pokecat was able to catch back up a little bit in terms of the CS. Still a little bit behind Limp here on the quad.
I mean, it's not really hard to last hit when you have a DD, I guess. Oh, Pokecat, you can't. All right, maybe you can trade with that.
He really can. I mean, there's the wraparound from Hansken, though. Bit of tunnel vision potentially here from Pokecat. Will drop a Sunstrike, hoping that Limp would walk into it. EGM has turned up now. Maybe might be able to save Pokecat. Oh, the Nightmare will just do it. I think the Shadow Strike damage was still taking him down. Oh, the final one. No, it's not enough. Pokecat lives and gets the kill onto Hansken.
Do you have any idea how much panic there was right there for Pokecat?
My God.
He blocked himself with his own Forward Spirit for like 4 seconds. Throws out a YOLO Sunstrike to hope that he hits Limp and then gets saved by EGM. Like, that was the most panicked I think I've ever seen that guy. Does manage to live, though.
That was... Blooming good job EGM turned up there for 4 players. 2-2 at the moment. That's going to give, of course, the space. The offlaner Legion was forced to go back to base. Now TP's back up to the top. Jonas and Fan. He's nearly found his level 6 though. Hasn't really got dual, and up to now he's been doing really well in lane. 27 CS at the moment on this offlane Legion. He's going to be incredibly happy with that.
Well, we saw this matchup earlier with just different teams, right? The thing is, Doom doesn't have a whole lot of laning utility except for Scorched Earth. That's his only go-to in mid.
Limp. He's got a haste. He's good. He's good to go.
Yeah. But as far as the top lane goes, we saw this matchup, and basically what happens is the LC is able to do pretty much whatever he wants until the Doom hits level 6 and decides, okay, now I'm going to cast Doom on you, and if I have one other hero in the area, you just die. So are they going to actually have the foresight to just say, okay, get out of that lane once the Doom is 6 because you can actually die at this point? Or is Jonas and Fan going to suffer the same fate as we saw Bambo suffer against Empire?
And we'll see if they're able to turn it in this situation. Limp has that Sonic Wave available here. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to want to try and go for Pokecat if he sees an opening. But there is EGM hanging around there, ready with a defensive Nightmare. We're going to see, in fact, Jonas and Fan join the mid lane as well. So he really wants to try and find a dual wraparound, but still EGM in the position that he is in. So I mean, Jonas and Fan's going to have to come in from their own side of the map. And it's going to be quite hard to catch out Pokecat with this Bane hanging around.
Yeah, I don't think he's killable, actually, as long as EGM is in the area. The other thing, too, is you have to be very wary of things like Cold Snap, Sunstrike, Ice Wall when you're trying to tower dive. It actually makes Invoker incredibly potent if you're trying to play aggressive on him. So do not ever underestimate the kind of crowd control he can bring, even with an Exort build, and especially the damage at this early stage.
Seal Kid trying to position himself so he can go in for the telekinesis. Now Jonas and Fan's here as well. This could be potentially an easily duel, and there we go. Straight onto the clock. 4 heroes on the side of NiP converge onto him, and they'll get the kill. TP reaction, he's coming in from Swift Ending, and he does have the Doom available. Can he pick up something on the retreat? Will drop his Shroud to Hansken. Hansken's pretty tanky, will be able to run. Now Era coming back in with the Dark Pack, but Swift Ending with that regen from the Scorched Earth, not really the ideal target, and Night Stalker, yeah, he'll be able to live through this Doom here. Will be okay. And that's going to be that. So Doom is forced to rotate bottom and doesn't get anything with the first use of the ult.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate. I mean, I understand why he rotated.
Oh, Bambo. Limp. Bambo's trying to juke it. Isn't going to work. Scream finishes off the job. 4 for 2 at the moment.
Yeah, NiP doing all right here in the early game. Just going to wait for the next night, I think, until we start to see Hansken have a little bit more action going his way. But the fact that, like you mentioned, that rotation came in, the Doom wasn't really that effective. He's actually maxed Scorched Earth. So when Silent played this, he went full Devour, and he went more of like the farming-oriented build, focused really hard on getting the drums and the Vlads up as soon as humanly possible, rather than try to just gank as soon as your ulti's off cooldown. So it's 2 pretty different playstyles, at least from the Doom perspective. As one, I'm just going to go for items for my team. I'm not going to worry about using my spells until later, until we start to 5-man. And then Swift Ending's like, I just want to kill somebody as soon as my Doom's off cooldown.
Yeah, I mean, which we talked about earlier, the fact that 20 damage per second, you know, the lockdown, of course, is great, but you're going to need a bit more than just the Doom, really, to find kills at the earlier stages of the game.
Well, the Scorched Earth can help.
Yes.
Like by this point, like it's prior to 10 minutes. So if you just have that on and you're chasing somebody down, it's way more damage than anybody can take at this stage. Because I'm pretty sure Scorched Earth lasts for 16 seconds at level 4. So that is a very, very long time. That pretty much means it does what? Like 48 damage. It takes 16. Just round up.
Sandy.
Yeah, it's a little less than 800.
Yeah.
So it's 32 less than 800.
So 768.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
That's a lot. Add that in with the Doom.
How's that balanced?
Well, we'll see. And 6.85B.
Doom has been removed from the game. That is going to be the next patch.
No, it's certainly a strong spell. It certainly is.
And that's also healing, by the way.
Oh, yeah. So you're creating a 96 effective difference between yourself and the enemy every second.
Pretty much.
Obviously got to take out magic resistance, but regardless, it's still there. Pretty fantastic spell there for the old Doombringer. Bottom lane. And NiP working away at this tier 1. The clock can't really do an awful lot to stop it on his own. Fortification will come out, but it doesn't look like 4 Clovers are going to send any more resources down here for the time being. They'll have to wait for this next wave, NiP, and they did have a Unison fan down here as well still. Looking for a second duel win against the clock if Sealkid could find that telekinesis leading. Hansken just working on finishing his treads. Still got a bit of time before the next night kicks off. And how's Bambo doing? He's getting a bit from this top lane. He's found his Arcanes, level 5, and Swift Ending. Is he going for the drum build? You did have a Bracer in his stash earlier. And yeah, so he's got it complete. Of course he's going for the drum build.
Yeah, I mean, this is super standard. The thing about Doom is you're really only bringing him to the team fights for 2 things, Doom and Scorched Earth. Sure, the level death helps, but middle lane.
I'd love to take this kill and whoa, not able to get out that Nightmare in time.
That would have been pretty sick if you got it.
That, yeah, instance of damage. Probably still would have died there with a couple more heroes in the backup for NiP. Era's been given a lot of space out. 5.2k gold on this man. He's running the Midas that he picked up at a very reasonable time.
His team is like NASA. They're just creating space.
This is going to be quite a big, but we've already talked about how good the Slark pick is against some of these heroes.
And this is the ideal start. I mean, the biggest weakness in Slark, as we talked about at the start, is you can't really deal with the early aggression that well. Like, even up until this point, he's got 872 health. Of course, he's on agility treads right now, but, you know, the hero is still generally pretty squishy. And you will have to worry about Doom if and when he decides to go for that Aghanim Scepter. But until that point, you know, you're pretty much free to do what you want. And because of the fact that Limp did such a good job middle lane, and the fact that he was able to even gank a Bambo top and Jonas some fans just farming away.
Yeah, they might die for this with this wave coming in. They do have to avoid the Night Stalker there.
Yeah, no echo yet, though.
Spotted out by the flare. Smoke up here from 4 Clovers. They are the ones that actually want to fight here. If Hansken hangs around, as he just waltzed into the secret shop, the pings are coming out. They know he's there. Swift Ending moving in. 3 heroes here. Should be the Night Stalker in a lot of trouble. Will pop out a Void. Brain Sap's there to follow through, and even Pycat turned up for the fight there. So a pretty easy pick off them for the side of 4 Clovers, taking down the Night Stalker. And they do need these pickoffs. They're falling a little bit behind in kills, 5 for 2. Brings up 5 for 3 now on the board. And Pycat turning to mid, Limp, nearly able to take down this tier 1. And the Midas and Focus. So what does Pycat go for in terms of items this game against NiP? Is it just the push?
Yeah,
you got to get the push on.
Whenever people go this build in competitive play, it's pretty much the same build 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Like you very rarely, if ever, see any deviation from just Midas into Necrobook 3. Sometimes people will go Force Staff beforehand. And then it's just like, we're going to 5-man with our Necrobook, double Forge Spirits, we get Roshan. Maybe somebody on our team buys a Medallion as well. And then you just mow down towers. It is incredibly potent, because with just Cold Snap and Forge Spirits, you already can almost stunlock somebody, pretty much, right? And then if you add a book into the mix, you get the extra mana burn damage, you get the movement speed and such to be able to chase people down, and obviously you get the extra damage and pushing potential, so it just synergizes so nicely with the hero.
Oh, Ara still maintaining his position here at the top of the net worth board. Just followed, of course, by his teammate. A Limp on the quad. And this one, it kind of feels like it hasn't been as crazy as some of the other 4 Clovers games. They're playing it a little bit more safe this time. Yet to really see any kind of big commitments to fights come out from the side.
I think it's maybe one of the first games where the opponents that they're playing against are actually able to pressure equally in every single lane, you know? Like Jonas Fan, he's been able to free farm. He's got 60 CS at 14 minutes as an off lane. That's crazy. Like Limp was crushing mid. And the other thing too is Invoker inherently is not that kind of hero who really wants to roam around too much, especially when you're Exort. Like Quas Wax Invoker, okay, fine. You can go around, throw a couple of Tornado EMPs, and you can make some stuff happen. But as a general rule, as Invoker, when you're playing Exort, you just wait for the enemy mid to leave, and then you just punish his tower for it. Like, you don't actually try to gank. You just throw out a Sunstrike.
Absolutely. And let's see if it does continue to work. 15 minutes coming up. And both teams utilising the jungle. Just keeping it cool, keeping it safe, not wanting to get corner out. Especially for the side of 4 Clovers as NiP are smoked up. Got Jonas and Fan up here. He'd very much like to add to that plus 10 damage that he's achieved so far. They're going to find Swift Ending here. Swift Ending does have a blink and drums. It's going to be a hard target for just Limp and Hanskin to take down on their own. As you'll almost certainly get the chance to get the Scorched Earth out. It's of course level 4 now. Sitting at level 10 here on the Doom. And pings are coming out towards top. It just doesn't look like 4 Clovers really want to make too much of a commitment to defend these tier 1s. Everyone bar Pycat is going to head up here. And okay, now comes the TP, blink forward. Who's going to drop the Doom on? No one as of yet, looking for Hanskin. With the Haste Rune, trying to get in position potentially for a Sonic Wave. It's going to be Hanskin that's the focus of attention from Yola Warrior and Pycat. That's going to be the first kill. Now with the Fiend Script onto Limp, and Bambo with the Echo Slam to make sure there's no escape there for Limp, who may have been able to get off a blink. So nice use of the ult there to get themselves a second kill in this fight. Alright. We'll pick up the Bounty Rune. Sees Bounty elsewhere. Tries to overclock, but the cogs come out. Yola Warrior have to push him back. So just going to save this one for the time, and now he's going to grab it. Top lane, Swift Ending, trying to get a bit of a push on. Jonas and Fan still there with the jewel available. Didn't find a window to use it. Oh, we're seeing a positive bit of action there from 4 Clovers on the top lane. Now with reaction to mid. Spotting out Error, forcing him back. Won't let him get that tier 1 for free. And we are now back up 5 for 5 on the board.
I feel like right now, the most important thing to note, like throughout all these engagements, and you see that echo from Bambo and you think, okay, maybe overkill. That's true, but look at how close he is now to Blink because he did that. Like, he has got 1,460 gold as a position like 4 or 5 even, Earthshaker. Yeah. And it's only 17 minutes in. Like, that's going to be a pretty well-timed Blink. And I think that against what NiP have right now, they got 3 melee. Right? They got Night Stalker, Slark, and LC together, which means that the Shaker is going to have a lot easier of a time finding like 2 or 3 man echoes. So I think that having that Blink Dagger timing for the Shaker, of course, it's always really important how soon you get it. But in this game especially, given the kind of lineup that they have, when you have these kind of all-in-ish run-at-you heroes like Night Stalker, LC, and Slark.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, just having the extra initiation on the Slark, you know, with the Blink instant stun with the Echo Slam. Yeah. Trying to get him in that position where he can't get off either the Dark Pact or the Shadow Dance. Because then once they've got that set up with that, they've got a lot of follow-up to keep the Slark in place with the Fiend Script, if they're able to drop down the Doom before he gets that active off. Even just finding the opening to get a hook shot through. So they have got the tools, but it's all about getting that jump in on them. Right. And NiP, of course, at the same time, they're always going to be looking to get the jump themselves. Jonas and Fan, 1,200 towards that potential Blink Dagger. Did, of course, opt for the Blade Mail as the first time on the Legion. And I'm interested to see what Error's going to build for next on the Slark. Did, of course, pick up the drums after the Midas. Well, so he's sitting on the moment.
He's got an orb. I think he's just going Scotty, yeah. I mean, Scotty is a great choice here. It's very common on Slark just because you want the health to be able to live through whatever burst the enemy can throw at you. Get out of the fight, reset, heal back up to full HP, and then just go back in and do it all over again. So the faster he can get to that Scotty, the more confidence I would have if you're a NiP fan that they're going to be able to at least trade even on these engagements. It just all comes down to a couple of things. For 4CL, who do you Blink Doom? What's your primary target? Do you go on the Slark? Do you go on the Queen? I think those are probably the 2 best choices for now. I mean, if she can get the Queen before she gets the Sonic Wave off, and suddenly she can't contribute pretty much anything to the fight. She's got she's just got to turn and run at that point. So after that Blink initiation, then you fall back onto things like Hookshot, or does Bambo have his own Blink Dagger yet? I really feel like 4CL's 5-man is very, very strong once they get all their core items up. But of course, that's still a little ways away. Bambo is still 140 out from his own Blink Dagger. And the Doom is, in fact, building Aghanims. So we're not going to see the Vlad's finished. We're not going to see...
You talked about, obviously, the viability against the Slark.
Yep.
Being able to stop him from running away out of vision and still getting that passive regen.
It makes dooming the Slark a much more attractive option.
Certainly does.
Is under attack.
And that's your Blink Dagger now complete here for EGM on his Shaker. So we obviously talked about how the burst would allow him to get a pretty decent timing there. And it certainly is. Still, just 10 kills coming up to 20 minutes in. And top lane, a bit of pressure really being applied by NiP. They've got 4 heroes very deep into enemy territory, and they're looking to potentially take this tier 2 down away from the side of 4 Clover. Swift ending on the front of the moment. Will now pop up the Scorched Earth to try and just create some space, send Jonas and Fan back. We'll send out the old stone from the rock golems.
I just want to point out something really quick is if you look at the vision of 4C&L, they are blind. Like, they got no vision at all.
And look how deep they are as well. I mean, they're going for it with this smoke. And Lim's going to kick it off here. Era's turned up to the fight. Fisher does catch him. Oh, there's your Echo Slam. They'll find a first pick off. They'll get Lim. That's a big kill. But now Pycat is in trouble. Will lose the duel. Oh, the Nightmare. Can they actually end the duel? No, he gets denied. But Jonas fan still gets the win at least. We'll get that plus damage. Yolo Warrior lifted up. They'll also be able to find the clock. So that's going to be another one down. Bambo blinking forward, trying to get Hanskin. Swift Ending does get the Doom onto Era. As long as he can keep vision here, he should be able to get it. Era. No, he's out of sight. Can he get the regen in time? He's tried to duke it out. But no, they'll be able to follow him around. Can he get into the tree line in time? Oh, no. He can't do it. Era will go down. They're looking for Hanskin. Bambo moving forward. Has got the Fisher. Will throw it out. It's going to be hard for him to get this one, though. Swift Ending did manage to get the double kill as he cleared up Jonas and Fan as well. And it will be 4 Clovers taking the trade 4 for 2. And in what could have very easily gone the other way. Very nicely done there by the Dire to stay on top.
Arrow was trying so hard just to get out of vision because you saw every time that 4C&L lost sight of him for even a second, it was like the Doom wasn't dealing damage to him anymore. He was actually healing at that point. 4C&L, they're going to get their hands on this tower in the bottom lane. Sick nightmare from EGM.
Yeah.
The funny part about that was Pycat was actually Shadow Struck that time as well. But he took 1 tick of Shadow Strike, the Nightmare went back to him, and then he got denied from the Nightmare. So it's like, okay, well, our duel ended up getting the credit for the kill itself. Era gets doomed, dies, really important core hero for NiP. Fantastic trade coming in from 4C&L.
Absolutely, and off the back of that, Swift Ending here on the Doom, picking up the Aghanims, and as we can see over the first 21 minutes, that lead accumulated by the side of NiP, totally nullified by that last bit of action as 4 Clovers even off the playing field. And we saw there how Era tried to survive, didn't quite. He's not even going to get the chance to try that now.
Yeah, now he's just screwed. Yeah. So, because of the fact that he's gone for such an early Aghanims, Era has to play this game in a completely different way now. He can no longer lead in unless he knows for a fact that he's not going to get doomed.
Unless he goes in with the ult.
Well, he can go in with the ult, but then you're just saying, okay, if I don't kill a hero in my Shadow Dance, then I'm screwed. Like, I gotta...
Jonas and Fan going for a duel here, but Bambo is about. We'll try and save him with the Sonic Wave now. It's going to be easy win there for Jonas and Fan, and they might even find more now. Crippling Fear onto Bambo, trying to juke it out. We'll get the Fisher. Can he get himself out? He's got to blink here in a second. He's trying to juke it. Make sure he can, and he does. Manages to blink down to the south. They're still chasing those Swift Endings turn up, and he's going to look to try and turn. This has the Doom available. We'll put the level death onto Hanskin, trying to go to work here with the Scorched Earth. Era trying to fight with his ultimate up, and we're going to get the Doom, and he's going to be fine now. They feed script from EGM, and the Meteor flying down onto Jonas and Fan. They'll take down the Legion. Hanskin looking for the TP out. Can they get in to cancel it? Oh, no, they can't get a touch in. And then we'll end up just being Jonas and Fan there, trading his life for the Clockwork. So did win the duel, but then did pay with his life.
Yeah, I mean, things started out okay for NiP, and then they realized, oh, they're actually doing Roshan. So in hindsight, chasing the Earthshaker was not really the play. If they had just gone into the pit instead and tried to force the issue in there, when they actually had everyone still alive, I think maybe NiP could have come out on that fight ahead. But unfortunately, in that area, they did not actually have vision, or maybe they did and just thought maybe they had time. But with a Necro Book 3, 2 Forged Spirits, with that Invoker and Alacrity, you still kill Roshan pretty darn fast. So a little bit of a mistake coming in from NiP. Obviously, you can still overcome that. But it's going to become more and more problematic as Swift Ending gets more farm. Because what if he goes for, like, Shiva's Refresher, you know? Then you have the Queen and the Slark.
They're going to go for this duelist. Swift Ending incredibly deeper with the damage, bringing him low. They should be able to find this. Another win here for Jonas and Fan. Pycat moving in, trying to... Oh, Bambo with the Echo Slam on Terra. Can they be able to bring him down before he gets the off? No! He gets the ult off. He'll be able to get out. Limp blinks away. Hanskin has run into the center of it all. The telekinesis onto EGM, bringing him down there. Pycat is low. Will drop. Loses the Aegis. Bambo trying to get out of it. Jonas and Fan chasing him. Bambo does get the blink off. Bambo will live. Seal Kid trapped up in the cogs here by Yellow Warrior, trying to chase down the Rubik here with the battery assault. Limp still alive on the sidelines. Bambo is not dead yet somehow. Jonas and Fan trying to do what he can. Will find the nuke there onto the Earthshaker. And now, oh, Scream. Limp using the Yules here to set this up onto the Bane. Seal Kid moving it, but Limp gets taken out by a Rocket Flare, in fact. And look at the Forge Spears and the Necro units. They're just cleaning up here. Error now turns out. Will find the kill onto EGM. Again, a blink away here, but it doesn't matter. Double kill for Pycat. Double kill for Jonas and Fan. Jonas and Fan trying to get himself away from Yellow Warrior. Chasing this down with a Rocket Flare. Should be able to get himself out. Blink now off cooldown. But what a mess of a fight there. 3 for 3 between the sides. And it's not done. Okay, Cold Snap. Managed to get it off.
Yeah.
Still going to chase it, Jonas and Fan. Is he? No, okay, they're giving up because Error, he's turned back to the fight, going for Yellow Warrior. The Sunstrike will hit onto Error, brings him low, trapped to the cogs, gets the Shadow Dance off, still trying to eat his way through Yellow Warrior, but can't do it. Yellow Warrior's going to be able to get himself out, and now Level Death from Swift Ending claims the kill onto Error. And still, Seal Kid, Jonas and Fan, they want to keep themselves away and out of this, and with that final kill, that makes that a very nice team fight win for the side of 4 Clovers. Getting Error at the end there as he went a little bit too ballsy trying to get those extra kills.
That team fight lasted for well over a minute because he used Shadow Dance at the start of the fight and then used it again before he died. Like before the fight actually just ended completely. So a couple of things. First off, Swift Ending was way ahead of his team. Like he was farming a creep wave like, yeah, we got no problems here. We got Aegis on our Invoker. We're going to take this. Oh God, I'm dead. Because he just got caught out totally. And again, a lot of it was because it was daytime, and I'm pretty sure NiP were coming in from both the woods on the top side and the lane at the same time, so they saw that 4CL were not close enough to help him. And as soon as that happens, I thought it was looking a little bit sketchy, right? Because, okay, well, you're down a hero, which is one of the more farmed heroes on your team. And here we go.
Handscan, he's going to get caught out here by the Fisher. Pycat with the Meteor as well. Straight on Handscan, bringing him down, bringing him low. They'll find the kill. They also pick up Rubik there on the sidelines. 2 clean pickoffs in mid lane. Jonas and Fan trying to duel with Yellow Warrior here. TP reaction coming out. I don't think he's going to win this duel unless he gets a couple more procs. No, we'll get it. The defensive nightmare there from EGM. And now the Fiend Script, they're going to turn it around. Sunstrike, Bambo coming in close as well. Close and personal with the slap. Fisher to finish it off. Gets the kill on Legion. And some fantastic reaction there from 4 Clovers. And Jonas and Fan, he really was pushing his luck there, trying to go for a duel in the mid lane.
Am I seeing things, or did he not Blade Mail?
I think he Blade Mailed after the duel.
Yeah,
he didn't
I'm pretty sure he didn't Blade Mail. Because there is like no way Yellow Warrior would have lived through that if he just popped Blade Mail straight away. So damage lost here from Jonas and Fan, unfortunate. And in the meantime, 4CL going to be pressuring the tier 2 in the bottom lane. Should be a pretty easy kill for them. Still very curious to see what Swift Ending's next item choice is going to be, sitting on 2,500 gold. I think it's pretty standard with these types of builds just to go Shivas or just go for Refresher straight away. But I think he probably wants to buy armor because he's against LC, Slark, and Night Stalker, 3 heroes who do a reasonable amount of right click. And once he gets those items, it's going to be so hard actually for NiP. I think that maybe they wanted their timing to be sooner than when Swift Ending actually had Aghanims and the rest of his item progression. Because once it's out, like Slark is actually so useless against Doom after that.
I mean, talking about the Slark, Error is going for the Lincoln Sphere rather than the Skadi. I mean,
it's a good choice.
Build? This is the choice?
It is a good choice.
Jonas and Fan, he's going to set this up with a duel. Yes, he is. Straight on Swift Ending, but the Scorch Turf is out. Do they have the damage to bring him down? Yes, they do. With Limp and Error, they will find themselves a kill. Bit more damage into the back of Jonas and Fan. Wrap around here from Yellow Warrior. EGM's there as well. He's actually hook shot straight across it all onto Error. Bambo here looking for the lockdown with the Echo Stab. They do it. They lock him down. He doesn't have the chance to get off the Shadow Dance. Jonas and Fan in the middle of all 4 heroes on the side of 4 Clovers. Double kill for Pike. And the Sonic Wave does, but no, the Blade Mail. Turning around the damage. EGM can he finish it off? Moving forward here with the Glimmer Cape. Yellow Warrior's joining us with the blink out from them. He will be able to get himself out with the TP. Does manage to escape a Yellow Warrior. Can he do anything here? Needs EGM to come back in and help him out. EGM has turned up and the Fiend's Grip is there. Handscan caught out. Cogs as well. Do they have damage to finish him off? Yes, they do. Handscan will go down. And now Seal Kid, Bambo straight back up. Fisher finishes him off. And 4 Clovers coming out on top again with, I mean, a trademark 4C&L team fight, that one.
Honestly, they just have to expend so much just to kill the Doom. Like, the Doom is so freaking tanky. Like, they use duel, they all walk in, they all just beat him to death, and once that happens, okay, well, you have nothing left for the X-Sword Invoker who has Book, Blink Dagger, and bots. And he did a lot of damage before he died, so with those types of team fights, you can't really afford to dump everything on one hero, but at the same time, you kind of have to for NiP. And because of the fact that, yeah, Era is going for Lincolns, which is a good choice in the sense that it keeps you from getting doomed, you're still not really dealing a ton of damage yet. Like, you need maybe 1 or 2 more items in progression until you really start to become that high damage threat that teams are going to have to respect. Because right now, 4CL, they got a bunch of fairly tanky heroes. Like, even Bane has 1200 health, and he's got a Glimmer Cape on top of that. Clockwork's at 1900. Bambo's got Blink, Force Staff, and 1200 HP. Like, who is the easy target right now for the Slark? Who does Era just look at and say, I can kill you?
I mean, I think he's starting to realize that. We've seen him try to do it, and then he's kind of like, this isn't going how I want it to.
Yeah.
And I've got to be honest here, I mean, you mentioned it just now, but Pykat's performance on the Invoker, we haven't seen it a lot in competitive, but top of the net worth, he's doing a sterling job.
Yeah, he's landing all his combos very nicely. And sometimes he's even landing them when heroes are on the move. Like, I think before he landed a Meteor Deafening onto Hanskin when he was actually running around during nighttime, which is actually fairly hard to do because Meteor doesn't really move that fast. And Night Stalker is really fast at night. So I've been impressed with that one.
Aaron Jonasson fan might just look to push this lane in top, try and find this tier 2. He is going to attract the attention here of 4 Clovers as they make the move through their jungle. But NiP, they're already on the retreat, not wanting to hang around and have a bit of a repeat what happened on the top lane about a good 2 minutes ago.
Well, for now, I think NiP need to try to establish some kind of map control. Because if they don't, you're going to have to worry about Roshan respawning in the next couple of minutes. And if you lose another one of those to 4CL at this stage, they have the pushing power to just go high ground. So if you try to fight around Roshan, you fail. Maybe you give Roshan away to 4CL, you lose a couple of heroes. That tier 1 mid is probably going to die, which... Can we just talk about how that tower is still alive, by the way?
Double damage.
Like, that tier 1 is actually not only alive, but it's at like 90% life. That just seems a little bit odd to me, playing against Exort Invoker with Book, and given the fact that 4CL have a 10 kill lead and have been pretty handedly winning every engagement.
Bottom lane Bambo, hanging around in the trees. Era coming right out this lane. Bambo slowly edging himself towards him. He's going to need some more backup if he wanted to do anything. Still Kid does drop a deep lane ward here.
Under attack.
Still at this point, NiP being a little bit more careful with their advances down the lanes. And I think at this point, I mean, are they happy just kind of sitting back and getting the farm on Era until he's got a couple more big items online?
I think they even want BKB on him. I think that's the next play. So here's the big issue right now with just having a Linken's. It can be broken very easily by things like Cold Snap. It can be broken by any of Bane's spells, pretty much. And then you just get doomed anyway. But if you have BKB, you're assuring yourself at least 10 seconds where your Linken's can be why they're going to want to wait. Otherwise, you run the risk of having to use Shadow Dance to get in, like you mentioned earlier. So we're going to see Dire's Courier here die. Sonic Wave for clearing purposes here, top lane. But his biggest issue is, again, he doesn't do enough damage during his ulti to kill anyone. And he needs BKB to prevent himself from getting doomed still. So he's basically spending like, what, 9,000 gold on purely defensive items in conjunction with drums. So my question still remains, when is this hero going to do damage?
It's certainly a while off. And we'll see if NiP, of course, can just create that space and time for that magic moment to hit. Top lane, Jonas.
Oh, I'm sorry. He can get Fiend's Grip too. I forgot about that.
There's a lot he's got to worry about.
I was like,
there's a lot.
There's something else that breaks Linken's through BKB, and I'm forgetting what it is, and it's Fiend's Grip.
Yeah, he's got a lot on his plate this game, Era. See if he's able to pull it together with the help of his team. I think pretty much the majority are all building BKBs on the side of the Radiant, aren't they? I think Limp was going for one.
Well, they all need one for sure. And Limp has his BKB,
he's got it.
So.
Okay. How's NS doing on the Aghanims front?
Right now, he's more than halfway. Yeah, he's only got about 1,200 gold to go, and then he'll have it.
Bottom lane, Jonas and Fan and Era joining forces, looking for a tier 2. Tier 1 in the mid will be the trade here. Okie dokie, here we go. Here comes the gang squad, and they'll get the kill. Bambo with the setup Echo Slam. Beautiful follow-up hook shot from YOLO Warrior. And that's a kill.
It's a pretty classic setup, actually, the way that 4CL are running this. A Clockwork. Throwing out another hook shot. I'm not sure what that one was about. But,
he's got the Ags. He's good to...
Was it a farming hook?
Flared it around, yeah.
Okay.
Potentially. What's he got? Yeah, he just wanted to get to the secret shot quick. Pick himself up a TP ready for this Roshan attempt that they are going to go for as a lineup. 30 seconds without the Legion. It's not going to be a great time for NiP to even think about contesting, and at half elf already. Looks like this will be a free Rosh here for 4 Clovers.
My question is, does Pycat just take it again, or do they give it to the Doom? Looks like Pykat's kind of getting in position to take it. Yeah, I think he's taking it. All right. So right now, NiP. Man, can you even defend your tier 2s right now? I kind of feel like defending tier 2 is inherently risky and not really much of a reward. Like getting that huge high ground defense fight is going to be the one way they can get themselves back into the game. But again, it's still quite a ways before Era even has a BKB up. He still needs 800 gold. And then once he has that, it just doesn't hit that hard. I'm kind of like second guessing the Slark pick. I mean, I know why they did it. Because against the rest of the heroes on 4CL, Slark is really, really good late game. But Doom always is just like, you get doomed, you can't do anything. And when you have a hero who has this kind of farm priority, I mean, let's look at it in terms of the numbers, right? So right now, Era, he's got 15,000 net worth, give or take, right? If you doom him, his net worth might as well just be 0. Because he's not going to be able to do anything at all, which is a huge bummer.
Piecat bottom lane, Limp trying to go in, but there we go, walks it off it. I think he gets away with this detection. This is something that NiP have for their resources, and meanwhile...
Oh man, that is bad.
4Clovers showing how to do a successful gank. Getting Era with the Doom, and 70 seconds off the map. Shiva's now picked up from Swift Ending. They'll look for the tier 2, and they may even look for more here, Andy.
Well, what can you do when you get doomed? I just feel really bad for Era, because this is actually such a hard game for him. Because they're not going to doom anybody but him for the rest of the game. Like, what's the point? The Queen doesn't have enough burst damage to really threaten the fight on her own. LC can't go in and duel if the Slark is doomed. And the support Night Stalker only has Aghanims. I mean, it's 36 minutes in, and we're going to see another clearing wave ulti here coming out of Limp, and they're just trying to buy whatever time they can for their Slark to be alive.
They'll try and just take a second tier 2 here, by the looks of it, 4Clovers. Piecat with the pushing power they can offer with those Forged Spirits and Necros. Jonas and Fam just hanging around on the bottom. They may need to come back for a defensive. 4Clovers want to continue with this aggression, but 24-12 at the moment. Earlier on, it was NiP that did have some sort of a lead, but look at the turnaround here on the board. Straight down over the last, well, pretty much entire half of this game, and it's all been 4Clovers.
This is pretty much the exact same thing that happened against Empire 4Clovers game 1. Like, almost the exact same thing. Era, gonna eat a little bit of a meatball there to the face, pounces away to safety though. It's just a matter of Doom doesn't care about the laning phase. So even if your Legion commander is farming on equal terms with the Doom has a much easier time impacting the fights. The Scorched Earth is great utility. You have good damage from being able to use level death, and obviously the benefits of having Doom as an ability. And for now, I mean, NiP can only stand by and watch their tier 3 just be punched here by Piecat.
Oh, and they were not happy about this. NiP is smoked up, looking for some kind of wraparound. The reach around gank on this aggressive position of
this is so YOLO.
4Clovers.
This is so
NiP going all the way around, 3 from the back, 2 from the front. They want to try and sandwich 4Clovers here, and it's going to be Jonas and Fan revealing himself as BKB's popped in. He's going to look to try and lock out Swift Ending. Can they kill Swift Ending before he gets the Doom out? They're going in. Era's there as well. Starting wait, they'll bring him down. They get the kill on the Doom, but they've already lost the Night Stalker. They've already lost the Rubik. Era's trying to do what he can. He's got a lot of stacks built up here with the Essence Shift. 10 at the moment, pouncing forward. Look for Yolo Warrior. Yolo Warrior pots the Blade Mail. Era pots the Shadow Darts. Now turns his attention toward EGM, but EGM with the Glimmer Cape will be able to get himself out now. Hookshot Fisher onto Era. They'll try and burst him down with the control. Can they bring him? He has no ult. Trapped in the cogs. He's all alone. He's got no friends, and he's got no life. Will get taken down. Mega kill streak for Yolo Warrior. 3 heroes on the deck for the side of NiP. 4Clovers only losing Swift Ending there on the Doom. And this is going to be the time for Piecat to push. He's a little bit low. He's got the Blink. Blink sails straight battle away. Now gets his Forged Spirits out. Will be able to find this tier 3. And now should maybe even be able to apply some pressure here onto the structures. And the question is, what can NiP do about it?
Well, it's kind of what I was saying earlier. Even in the fights where they have an ideal start for Era, because they managed to kill the one hero who can lock him down for the entire fight, they have to use so much to kill Swift Ending. Piecat, though, could be in trouble.
But the Glimmer Cape from EGM is beautiful. Fisher onto Jonas and Fan. And they are now back NiP, and they want to keep fighting. They're going to drop the wall here. Limp, blinking forward, wants to try and fight Piecat. Sonic Wave will catch him. Well, he has got the Aegis. Bambo trying to walk this one off. Shadow Strike in his backside, ticking him down. The Nightmare there, holding him still. The Glimmer Cape keeping him alive, but they found Piecat in the sidelines, and with a huge blink and a duel from Jonas and Fan, they'll get themselves a win. They do take down the Invoker. They also find Bambo on the retreat, and now they're looking for EGM. This could be NiP with a massive turnaround. Telekinesis to hold the Bane in place. Fade Bolt to the front. Looks for a TP. The Void will be there to cancel it, and double kill is picked up by Limp. They'll also be able to claim themselves the gem from the side of 4 Clovers. So, well, a little bit of a switch around there, and suddenly 4 Clovers with 3 heroes out. No buybacks available for 40 seconds plus on all of them.
Overstaying their welcome a little bit here. 4CL not really getting anything at all out of that last engagement. I gotta say, Yonason fan had like a on-point blink.
That was a huge
like he just spotted Pycat instantly, and they did have a ward in the area, but it didn't see into the trees, so that was pretty much a blind guess. And he dueled so fast it was almost like he freaking knew he was there. That was kind of insane, actually. But we should bear in mind that this LC, she's getting a lot of damage. I mean, 102 dual damage right now, has a Demon Edge on top of that, hitting for over 300 at the moment. At some point in the game, you're going to have to start addressing Yonason fan as well. We talked a lot about Era and what he can and can't do in this game, but we cannot forget about the Legion Commander.
Swift Ending going on a bit of a trek here on his own. He's going to turn his attention back towards the lane. Does have that Shadow Blade, of course, that extra central gap closer. Something else to try and catch out the heroes of NiP so we can get those Dooms in.
Yeah. I really still think that 4CL have a bit of an advantage here, but a lot of it's going to come down to the next couple of initiations. Like, who gets the jump? If they're that NiP maybe have like a 50-50 shot of winning the fight. If they have enough damage left over after using like Sonic Wave and pretty much everything else in the kitchen sink just to kill the Doom to win a fight, I think they'll be in good shape.
Need to be careful there. NiP, they've got 4 top. 5 top, in fact. And this is a close one. 41 minutes in. NiP certainly still have the chance to find those big pickoffs and bring themselves back up as we've seen. I mean, XP. Can't quite decide where it's going at the moment. Flat on 0 between these two sides. Still a slight net worth lead for the side of 4 Clovers. I mean, NiP, they really want to fight here. They've already found a slightly successful... Oh, it's going to kick off now. Swift Ending. Oh, they've spotted out Hansken jumping straight in. They'll find the Doom now with a hook shot. You know, the Warriors straight in the middle of it all. They've trapped Hansken up in the cogs. Now with the first death. Taking down the Night Stalker with a Fiend's Grip onto Limp. They might be able to find a second one onto NiP. No, they do. That's going to be Limp down as well. Sexy Bambo and EGM with the Invis. They're going to be fine. There's a duel onto Swift Ending. Can they get this win? It might. No, they can't. The Meteor. Pycat's there, but the BKBs are out now with the Echo Slam. Era's getting low. Did manage to get off the Shadow Dance. Will head north, but no. Bambo straight up. Actually blinked in. Blocked the pounce with his body. And they do manage to get Rubik out of there. So it's 4 heroes down on the side of NiP, but some massive pickoffs, and I've got to say the fact that Bambo got himself in front of the Slark as he pounced.
He knew, man.
Classic Bambo.
He knew instantly that he was going to try to get himself
hello,
out of there.
Pycat wants to go for a bit of a tickle, and he's going to get it. Yonason fan turns around with the blame out, tries to get the slaps in, hook shot forward from YOLO Warrior, and he's straight in, and now he's got the cogs onto Hansken. Hansken did just buy back. If they can bring down a Night Stalker here for a second time, he's going to be dead for a good few years, and 60 seconds on the clock for him. Now, Tier 3 is going to be the focus of attention. And they may even be able to take a set of racks here or more. Nightmare holding Seal Kid back. Have a bit of a sunstrike to him. Bambo wasn't quite big enough there to get the tip onto him. 32 to 16, 43 minutes. He's going to be the bottom set of racks down. And with the NS on that dieback, are 4 Clovers done here or do they stick around?
Well, they could maybe try to run top. Still 35 seconds left in the Night Stalker. They might be able to get some damage on the other range racks, or they could kill the Tier 3. I mean, the choice is pretty much theirs. I just usually see a naked Rax, and I think to myself, maybe you could take down that range Rax, just help the lane push in a tiny bit more. But they're going to play it the safe way. It's going to go ahead and back completely, which I totally understand. Like, everyone's going to be alive soon. You know, they got duel again. They're going to have that Sonic Wave, because the Queen, I think Limp went Aghanims. Yes, he did. And he's actually still very farmed, even given the circumstances. I just feel like that last fight, that was painful for them, because they didn't really get much of anything, right? Like, they pretty much just lost heroes. And even with Pycat dropping his Meteor deafening on 2 BKBs, it didn't really much matter. By that point, the Doom had already gone out on the Hanskin, Night Stalker was dead, the Pounce got blocked by Bambo, and then after that, the bottom racks was just a snowball effect.
It's certainly going to be hard to stop this snowball coming out from the side of 4 Clovers. AC now complete on your clockwork, and Bambo's got himself a Silver Edge.
That clockwork is fat. Blade Mail, AC, Aghanims.
Pretty legit standing.
Level 18, not bad. I mean, we don't know who it is, right? Because the official tags don't work right now in the Reborn lobbies. So we don't actually know who that is, 100%. Maybe it's a well-known Clockwork player.
It could be. It could be, but he's certainly being the savior that 4Clovers need this game. 7 kills, 13 assists, only died the 3 times on the board. And now, do they want to make a move into the Radiant jungle? NiP are there and waiting. Double damage still on Jonas and Fam. He'd love to fight with it, and it is going to kick off here. Yola Warrior moving forward, Swift ending with the Shivas. Looking for a duel, and Jonas Van jumping straight in onto the Doom. This will be a lovely pick if they can get it, and they should be able to. They're bringing him low. No, he can't win the duel. They do kill him in the end. So that'll be Swift ending out of this one. Eric getting himself out there with a BKB and Shadow Dance. BKBs have now already been used by NiP, so if the fight continues, 4Clovers might be able to find themselves ahead. Nightmare just on the hands again. Limp blinking very aggressively forward. He's going to take a hook shot to the face here. Yola Warrior trapped in the cogs with the Slark. And Era just forced back across the cogs. Bambo stuck in the pit. Jonas and Fan will move in to try and finish him off, but Bambo here with the silver edge will be able to keep himself out of harm's way.
Roshan
trying to juke it out. Roshan turns up to the fight, realizes it's a party. He wants an invite. Jonas and Fan. Bambo with a Fisher from the high ground. Bambo's got to be incredibly careful, incredibly low on life points. And it was a lovely Fisher, though, because he's just trapped Jonas and Fan in with the rest of Bambo's boys. Hook shot from YOLO Warrior. Double kill for the clock. Sonic Wave comes out. Blink 4 from Arrow. Watch again. YOLO Warrior will finds the clock kill. Now he turns attention towards EGM. Does get the Nightmare out. Holds back Arrow. They'll finish up Bambo there on the high ground. Limp with the scream. And EGM. He's got to run. He's trying his best to get out of here with the Dukes, but now he's been spotted. Error, is he going to chase? Doesn't look like he will. So 2 for 3 there. NiP coming out on top this time. And Roshan is available, but I don't quite know. Yeah, without the Legion, they haven't really got the tools to take it down at a reasonable rate. But all things said and done, a good fight there for NiP and a good trade as well.
Yeah, thank God they managed to kill the Doom before he was able to use any of his actual spells. If that LC gets a little bit more damage, like maybe, 2 or 3 more duel wins, I think you're going to start seeing Swift End die a lot faster, I mean, he's not really... He is tanky, but he's not able to live through the initiation that they've been throwing at him. So he gets duel with Blade Mail on, he's not fast on the BKB and the Scorched Earth, and he's just dead, right? So if that keeps happening, maybe NiP are going to be able to hold this, but unfortunately, after taking that team fight, even though they won, they're still not going to be able to secure Roshan for themselves, which I feel puts 4C&L at an even bigger advantage for this point.
Where he's looking for some kind of action. Can he get it? He's, oh no! They don't get it. Doom will be able to keep himself the Aegis. Swift standing. Taking a lot of focus here, but of course he has got the Aegis. He's ready for round 2. Pike out from the high ground, throwing his spells. They're taking out the Rubin. Lovely hook shot from YOLO Warrior, catching Hansken right in the middle of it all. Beans grip onto Air as well. Massive plays from EGM, and Fisher will finish off the Slark. Suddenly it's now NiP back on the back foot. The mini Dooms there. In fact, after the Aegis pop on the Doom. And now Pycat ready to get the push on. Gem. I know it's there. They've still got the Dooms out. They don't really care though. They're looking for objectives here. And mid lane would be very nice to take. Tier 3 of course has gone on the top lane here as well. Hook shot in, YOLO Warrior. Taking the quickest route that he can towards the enemy base. There is a buyback available on Era here. And I have a feeling that they might need to use it on the side of NiP because the damage is going to be big. Jonas and Fan moving forward here, but the Echo Slam onto Limp. Limp getting low will be forced back now at half health. And look at the damage coming out of the Forge Spears. He's going to get blown the hell up. Jonas and Fan to drop as well. Buyback straight away from Limp. Pops out a Sonic Wave, but the middle racks are falling. And NiP are starting to begin to crumble here. They did put up a nice kind of penultimate fight, but after that, 4Clovers take a big win. They'll smoke up, celebratory, and they'll look to try and take Megas now. Now's the buyback from Era. Can they turn this? He'll blink forward. Lincoln has been popped. Trying to go to work. Hex onto Swift ending. BKB out from Era as well now with the Hurricane, and now the Meatball coming down. Pycat does manage to clear out the Rubik, and maybe even more here. Still alive. Era being forced back. Hansken being chased down here by Bambo. And they just can't kill anyone. Pycat with a very flashy 25 deafening blast. And I think that is Pycat finishing the game in style. GG, well played is called. And 4Clovers will begin this series with a victory.
Really impressive performance once again out of the crew of 4C&L. I just don't know how Arrow was supposed to be able to do anything if they didn't kill the Doom. Like every single fight where they killed Swift Ending at the start, it seemed like it was a lot easier for them. Because Arrow is able to get in and out of fights. Sometimes he used 2 Shadow Dances, sometimes even 3 in the same engagement, especially when they were fighting in bottom lane. But as soon as that Doom is alive, he has to play so passive. He can never go in. He doesn't have the opportunity to have any damage uptime. And as we also talked about, Blink, BKB, Midas, Lincolns. Like, that is such a defensive build, and I totally understand why he did it. Like, he doesn't want to have to worry about getting that Doomcast on him or a Fiend script during a team fight. You know, he has to itemize that way. And when you see stuff like that, you kind of have to go back and look at it and think, is there something better that we could have picked for that situation? Or do we just say, ban Doom in the next game?
Yeah, I mean, all in all, and Pycat's Invoker. I think, well, I just had a look. He was involved in 37 of the 43 kills.
I mean, he does have Sunstrike.
Yeah. Yeah, he does have a global, but still, I mean, regardless, he was all over the map, and he was all over NiP in those team fights as well. There was a very little misplay. Sometimes something would come out, BKBs would be there, but other than that, Pycat doing a huge amount of work, and also in a situation where the laning at the start wasn't great for the Invoker. You know, we saw Limp doing really well on the
Limp was actually owning him super hard.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of the... I feel like this is another patch where the lanes don't really matter a ton.
There certainly doesn't seem to be. Yeah.
When you have heroes like Doom and you have like this 5-man deathball strategy, obviously winning your lanes is good, right? There's nothing to be said otherwise. It's just Doom doesn't care about how much gold you have. It's just, you're just doomed. Like
you're back to square one.
Yeah, you just don't have anything. You don't have any presence in the fight anymore. And Necrobook with the Forged Spirits, with the Midas, that's pretty much all Invoker needs, and you can have that by 20 minutes, you know? And by that point in the game, your Doom's got drums and a Blink Dagger and Phase, and you're ready to go.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen patches in the past where Doom has been at the forefront and been a top-tier pick, and it looks like maybe 6.85 is patching out to be one of those ones yet again, as so far the teams that we've seen certainly seem to be favouring him. But that, of course, is just Game 1. We will be back for Game 2 between 4Clovers and NiP very, very shortly. But first of all, we're just going to have a quick advert break, and then we'll go over to the panel. We'll see you guys in a bit for Game 2.